Unity on the river. Namaste. It's time to get lifted up. Here we go.
It's mine alone. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Join us. Love is my decision.
let's sing Surely the Presence, because surely the presence is in this place.
Let us pray. Surely the presence of the Lord is here because we are here. Each and every one of us, the embodiment of the divine, the face of God, the heart of God, the hands of God, the voice of all that is. And today we come together to celebrate that, again, to raise our voices in vibration, to raise the consciousness of ourselves, this community, and by extension, all who would say yes to Spirit's invitation to be the presence of love. So we celebrate and give thanks. We are the house of love, and so it is. And so let it be, amen and amen. You may be seated. Good morning. Welcome to Unity on the River. Just in case we haven't met, I am Reverend Ogun Holder, Senior Minister here. Thrilled, as always, to be here with you. Thrilled that you are here with each other. And as I always like to say, if we want to see the face of God, because we are the embodiment of God, we simply need to turn to each other. So turn to someone and say, hey, hey, God looks good today. Now turn back to the other person and say, thank you, God. It's always good to say thank you for the compliments that you receive, and grateful today to be facilitating and sharing the stage with our very own Amy Jocelyn. Give it up for Amy.
Good morning. It's even now. Let's do that again. Good morning. Woo-hoo. All right. It is my joy to be facilitating for Rev Ogun this morning. If we want to just let's take a moment to just give a shout out of love to our streamers. Good morning, streamers. Thank you for being with us. We really appreciate your presence with us. And if there's anyone celebrating with us for the first time, if they could just raise their hand. Ooh, all right, welcome. Our ushers will give you a flower in a welcome packet, and if you could fill that out and bring it to our Spiritual Resource Center that's located in our bookstore, and they can answer any questions that you might have. And that flower, I think there's some over here too, Bob. Over here. Okay. That flower will also give you a 10% discount in our bookstore. All right. Well, Unity on the River is a center of inspiration, transformation, spirit-centeredness, oneness, and joy. Please hold these core values in your heart as we recite our mission and vision statement. We are a vibrant spiritual community that celebrates the presence awakens humanity to its divinity. And our vision statement. Centered in love, we joyously co-create a world of oneness, peace, and harmony. All right, and we have a few brief announcements. Today at noon, please join Holly Holden. Holly, could you please stand up and so people will know who you are? She is holding a workshop entitled The Soul of Work, Conscious Career Makeover. Holly will explore the 9 elements of the soul of work and how to achieve those elusive goals of career fulfillment, authentic success, and greater impact. And that's going to be held in the Oneness Center, which is over in this end of the building. All righty. We are in need of volunteer help in the following areas: a director of sacred service, hospitality coordinator and hospitality volunteers, Sunday service coordinator, and camera operator. Please see Peter Stringham or Michael Mooney, or call the office if you'd like more information on that. And I can personally attest that if you love this place now, if you step into service, you'll love this place even more, and you'll grow. Please check your bulletin calendar for inserts for upcoming Holy Week services and events. Palm Sunday, our Garden of Gethsemane, our Good Friday service, and our Easter Sunday celebration service are coming up quickly. Note that there is only one Easter service being held at 10 a.m. this Easter. All right, now is the time in our service that we like to rise and greet each other by saying Namaste. The divine I am, recognize and is witness to the divine that you are. Namaste.
How is everyone? This song I feel is very timely. It'll be self-explanatory. Let's just take one nice, deep, collective breath. Make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, let me bring your faith. Where there's despair, let me bring hope. Where there's darkness, let them see our light. And where there is sadness, let them feel our joy. Oh, divine master, grant that I may not see is in giving that we receive, in pardoning that we are pardoned, and dying to ourselves that we live. I join in on this part. Oh Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Oh Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Let me hear you. Oh Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Oh Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Oh Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Oh Lord, make me an instrument of your peace.
Thank you, Brian. So, as you know, there were a handful of us who went on the Unity cruise a couple weeks ago. Next week, I'm actually going to have some folks share of their personal experience, and maybe hopefully instead of 7 of us going next time they have a cruise, there'll be 70 of us. Wouldn't that be something? Yeah. And cool for a lot of reasons. It's good to hang out and have fun with each other, meet other Unity people. And the cruise was also a fundraiser for the church. And if you know this, but there was like a what do you call like an investment kind of thing, or so every church that sent people got a little certain amount of money back for the amount to the church for the amount of people that went. So it'll be a real good excuse when your family says, "What do you mean you're going on a cruise?" You'll say, "I'm raising money for my church." So bear that in mind next time there's a cruise on. But I'll share this one piece with you. How many of you have ever done cruising before? You've been on cruise ships? Yeah, and you know there's like endless entertainment on the cruise. There's movies, there's like these fabulous big like Broadway style shows. You're always eating food, like there's always food to eat there, and they're always telling you go eat now. But for me, the greatest and most popular act on the ship it occurred in a little piano bar, maybe about the half the size of this stage. And there was this guy, he was a Canadian guy, and he hadn't changed his hairstyle since the 80s. I mean, he had the big blonde, long frizzy hair going on, and he was amazing. Like every night, every seat was taken, standing room only in the bar, down the hallway leading up to it. And this guy, if you've never seen the piano bar acts, what they do is they sit at the piano, and like every song you probably think of, this guy knew how to play and sing. He covered everything from Sinatra to, I kid you not, Snoop Dogg. This dude was hilarious. And every night the place was just packed with him. Word of mouth got around. Like the first night, it was fairly full, but by the end of the cruise, like you couldn't walk down that hallway. He was so popular. And some of these piano bar guys, what they do is, they have a set list. His entire set list was by request only. Passing out cards to the audience, and they would write, and then he'd get them together, and he'd ask, hey, who wants to hear Billy Joel? Oh, yeah, Piano Man again. How original. But he'd do it anyways. How many want to hear Beatles? Really? No one wants to hear Beatles? Then I'm not playing Beatles. And that's how he did it. It was fabulous. I don't know if you guys know this, but I take requests as well. Not to play and sing. No. We pay the professionals for that. Hopefully by the end of my talk, you will feel free as a bird, but no, we're not doing free bird today. But I do take requests for subject matter to speak about. So if there's anything you ever want me to talk about, just let me know, and I will do it. There's no topic too crazy, too off the wall. Trust me, I'll make it happen. Some time ago, I was at Unity of Gaithersburg, and they invited me to speak on a Sunday that was like the YU Sunday. The teenagers were helping out in service, and they made this video that they wanted to show in the service to reflect a spiritual teaching that they had learned, and I was supposed to speak on this. And I realized after I saw the video why the senior minister didn't want to speak about it, or the associate minister, who was my wife, didn't want to speak about it either, because it was a video about zombies. And I made a talk out of it. I can talk about anything. What I want to talk today is, again, this was a request from our very own Susan Colburn. Hi, Susan. Last week, she said, can you speak about oneness? Because a little while back, she asked about consciousness. I spoke about that. And she wanted me to speak about oneness. I didn't know if she thought I'd get it together so fast, but I got your back, Susan. We're going to talk about oneness today. Oneness is a word that we throw around a lot in Unity, in New Thought, in spiritual communities. Oneness. Oneness. But what does it really mean, this oneness? I think it's a question that if I ask you, what does God mean? We're going to get, like, I ask 120 of you, we're going to get 120 different answers, okay? But I want to distill it down to what that word means within the context of unity. This is a unity church, after all, so let's stick with unity for right now, okay? So oneness, simply, we're going to start off with the easy answer and then branch out, okay? If that works for you guys. Start easy and then branch out. So the easy answer for what is oneness is simply another word we use for God, for beingness, for source, for life, love, spirit, principle, whatever name you give to all that is, whatever name you give to that force, that presence, that energy that's underlying the universe, that is the core essence of who you are, whatever name you want to give to it, that's oneness. That's essentially what it is. Okay, everybody got that so far? All right, now where we run into trouble, however, is that we say to ourselves, how can there be oneness when there are some days I don't feel it? We may watch the news and we go, I am not one with those people on there. Even with our own spiritual community, look out now. I don't feel like those people over there. I don't feel at one with them. I don't feel connected to them. How is this oneness a real thing? Okay, which leads to the question, is oneness, is it a fact or is it a feeling? Fact or feeling? I want to start by breaking down that word feeling. See, the English language is very limited, and we use a lot of words to use a lot of things. The word love, for example, means a bunch of different things. This is why I like what the Greeks do. The Greeks have like 7 or 8 different definitions or breakdowns or words that we use to mean love. Connection to family, connection to friend, sexuality, companionship. All those words sometimes we substitute for love, or we use the word love to mean all those things. Same thing with feeling. I find sometimes when we talk about feeling, what we are really talking about is experience. Let me give you an easy example you'll probably understand. This morning I woke up, got ready for church, walked out the door, and it was 28 degrees. What's the one word you'd use to describe that? Cold or freezing, but let's just go with cold. Cold's easy. I walked out and it was cold. So human beings, English language, will say, I felt cold. Okay? But feeling is really a word that speaks to our emotions. This morning when I walked out and it was 28 degrees, I experienced the cold. My feelings about the cold were a whole different matter. Y'all know me, I'm from Barbados. Can you imagine what my feelings about the cold were? But let's say it's the dead of summer. It's like 94 degrees out. It's been 94 for the past 4 days, which, by the way, you New Englanders, is not a heat wave. Okay? Not a heat wave. Go to Kansas City when it's 115 degrees for 4 days in a row. Then you got a heat wave. So, heat wave. All these, 90-something, 100-something. And you walk into a building where the thermostat is set at like 70 degrees. When you walk in, you're going to say the building is cold. What's going to be your emotional response then to the cold? How are you going to feel about the cold then? You're going to be like, thank God it's cold. Right? Words that really never ever come out of my mouth. Thank God it's cold. Right? So let's separate the two. Experience of something versus our emotional response to it. The emotions that come up, the emotions that are triggered when this thing happens. So the real question is, oneness, is it a fact or is it an experience? And the answer is yes. Yes, it is. We know this to be the truth. Otherwise, we wouldn't be gathering in here every Sunday morning. We wouldn't be coming Wednesday night to meditate and sing. We wouldn't be reading the books we read, listening to the things we listen to. So we know it's fact for us. But then the question is, how do we experience oneness? First of all, because it's fact, you don't have a choice. I mean, oneness is oneness. No matter whether you have an emotional feeling about it, whether in any given moment based on anything someone says or does, and how you may have an emotional response to that because of how you've been triggered or not triggered, doesn't change the fact that oneness, God, Spirit, love, is present and is the essence. The experience is there. You don't necessarily have to like it in the moment or have emotions that connect you to that. And that's okay. Why? Because I don't know if anybody told you, but we happen to be human. And we're going to have these human responses. We're also spiritual beings. And our spiritual truth is oneness. So how do we really experience that oneness? How do we get to a place where the truth, the oneness that we know is real, is fact, is the ground of our being? How do we get that to the place where we can, for the most part, all the time, hopefully, feel that as in emotions, as in the human element of us, the human part of us? How does our humanity feel like our divinity? Because I think that's the reason we're all here. We want the humanity of us to feel like, taste like, show up like our divinity. And the answer to that is something I talked about before that I'm going to recap real quick right now. Consciousness. We experience, I still want to say the word feel. We experience oneness through our consciousness. More specifically, our spiritual consciousness. The core essence of who we are is divinity. But the trick is we got to develop that. We have to expand that. We got to raise that up. We have to keep practicing that so that our humanity doesn't get the better of us in life situations. So let's talk about developing our consciousness. First, let's identify some different levels that we start with. And again, this is about, when we talk about levels, we tend to think hierarchy, okay? I want you to think three-dimensional expansion, okay? We're developing our consciousness, okay? It's not about higher rungs of the ladder, it's about fullness. And when we speak about consciousness, we often start from this place, the victim consciousness. Victim consciousness says, things are happening to me. This thing showed up, this thing happened, it happened to me. They happened to me. They did that. How could they do that to me? How many of you ever uttered that phrase? How could you do that to me? How could they do that to me? How could this be happening to me? Right? So this is the victim consciousness. This is when we don't realize that we're divine beings and we actually have a say in what happens in our individual self and world. The victim consciousness. And many of us, we begin to shift to the next level when we hear these unity teachings or Course in Miracles teachings or any spiritual teaching that you latch onto and you use for yourself. And then we go in, we expand a little bit and we get to the victor consciousness. And we say to ourselves, it's not just happening to me now, it's happening by me. Because I know that I have this power within me and I can make things happen. When I pull into the grocery store and that parking lot right by the door is empty, I did that. Right? It happened by me. But what's the problem with victor consciousness? In order for there to be a victor, there has to be a what? A victim. So victor consciousness, even though it's a little more expanded, you're still in the victim mentality. You're still in the victim mentality. We know we use victor consciousness, which is still in the victim mentality, when we say things like, oh, don't worry about that person. Their consciousness isn't developed yet. Right? And we point fingers and we blame. That's all part of the victim consciousness mentality. But then we realized that one day, we did some classes, we realized, I can manifest things in my life, as law of attraction teaches and all that, but there's more to it. This is deeper, and we study some more, and we go on we expand some more. Now we become vessels. Oh, wait, this is not just, it's not happening to me anymore, or not really by me. It's happening as me. Yeah, it's happening as me. Because we realize that who we are as Christed beings, so therefore I'm working, alongside Spirit, with Spirit, and this is where we start to really latch on to that teaching that the fullness of God is sometimes we use in me instead of as me. Okay? So that's what we say. But here's the problem with the as me, in me. Okay? It's not quite fullness yet. And I used this example last time. I'll do it again in case you missed it. Can you just hit me a chord on the piano? Just a little louder. Can you hear the sound that comes out of the piano? Yes. Right. Now, we can say that the sound is an expression of the piano. With your eyes closed and you walk into a room and you hear that sound, you think, oh, there's a piano in here. I know there's a piano. I can hear it. What you're hearing is the expression of the piano. Is the sound, is the expression of the piano the piano? It's not a trick question. Is the sound that comes out of the piano the piano? No. So even though we say we are expressions of the divine, which again is not accurate, it's just that vessel level. When we, kind of expanded past victim and victor, and we say we are expressions of the divine, what doesn't quite grasp the picture yet is that we're saying we are the sound waves of the piano. Now that's true. No one's arguing that sound didn't just come out of that thing, we didn't hear it, right? But it's not quite oneness yet. Oneness is when we get to this last place, the verity consciousness. The word verity means truth. The truth is we're not the sound waves coming out of the piano. The truth is thank you. We are the piano. We are the piano. We're not just God moving through us as us. We're it. Don't tell anyone, but we're God. Right? And this is a thing we struggle with. We struggle with because we see the world and we look back in our past and see decisions we've made and we're like, how can this be? But remember, it's not just the divinity. We're humans too. And I'm not giving humanity a bad rap. I love my humanity. I say it all the time. But our work is to develop our consciousness so that the humanity reflects that truth of who we are, the verity, the truth, so that we continue to reflect the oneness. Now here's the thing. Let's just say that we get to that place and we understand that and we're living that. It doesn't mean that we can't ever experience those bottom ones. And that's where the fun of life comes in. Stuff happens in our life, and it triggers us, and next thing you know, we're back to vessel, we're back to victor, we're back to victim. We start blaming others. And we go back to if this person had said this thing, then we'd be okay. I'd be okay. We get back down there. What's the verity consciousness says? We're all one. There is no me and her. There's no me and them. There's just us. There's just one. There's just one. Our work in life is to practice and develop our self-awareness so that we can see when we slipped back into vessel, victor, and victim. And we go, oh, I just said the thing, I just had that thought. That's right. I slipped back down. And that's okay. That's our journey, folks. That is our journey. And like anything else, the more we practice, the better we become. Did you all hear? So I love these musicians, and I really love that John here is like a jazz musician, okay? And I love when they're warming up before we start singing, and he's just rolling out the jazz standards. You know, a couple of weeks ago was Mercy, Mercy. Today, St. Thomas was rolling out. I was like, that's my jam. That's why I got up here and I was playing percussion with Malik. I was like, oh no, I can't let St. Thomas go by and not jump in. St. Thomas was one of the first jazz tunes that I ever learned to play piano when I was in college. Like I got emotional shivers when they started playing St. Thomas, you know. Now here's the thing I know as a person who used to play jazz piano, and I say used to because I stopped practicing. If you ask me to go play jazz piano right now, no one's gonna be happy. Talk about an expression falling flat. Yeah, but I know this man's putting years and years of practice. I didn't ask him. I can tell because of the sounds that are coming out of there. This is us too. The more we practice and practice and practice being in that place of verity, of truth consciousness, the more we're going to express the reflections of that. You often heard me say everything in our life is an opportunity for us to show up as God. Now, I want to make a distinction here because I intentionally don't say everything in life is an opportunity for God to show up as us. Now you know why there's that difference. As us, we still in vessel consciousness, that God is using us to do this. You know. That song Brian sang, Instrument of Peace, the prayer of St. Francis, is a beautiful prayer. And I love the intention behind it. And that song is really a reflection of vessel consciousness. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Lord, don't make nothing happen. Because to say God makes implies what? That God's something out there making something happen. No, no, no. No. What is oneness? That God is all. And if you are all, you can't make something separate from yourself happen because there is no separate from yourself. Does that make sense? Think about that. In order to make something happen, that means it's not happening. I am separate from it, and I'm going to do a thing, and boom, there it is. Okay? We are not instruments of peace. At our essence and core, we are peace. We're not channels of love. We are love. It's a real subtle difference, but it's the most profound understanding that when you can lay hold of, all you're going to do is keep expanding that consciousness to that place of oneness. A little bit of a segue, but I'm going to bring it back. Unity is a weird, slightly connected to Christianity movement. And I say this because in unity as a denomination movement, we don't practice a lot of the traditional Christian, like holy days and stuff like that. How many of you here observed Shrove Tuesday? Exactly. How many of you know what it is? Right? So again, this is kind of a fairly sort of significant thing in traditional Christian calendar. What season are we in right now in the traditional calendar? Christian calendar. We're Lent, okay? And Lent kind of has that indication of fasting. It was a practice model after Jesus' time in the desert, fasting for 40 days. It's the idea of preparation for Easter. How many of you right now are actively fasting? Right, okay. Again, there's not a good or bad thing. I'm not trying to embarrass or blame or shame. No, it's just where we are in unity. Unity doesn't really adhere to these practices in such a way, and that's perfectly okay. Because it evolved out of this understanding that sometimes we hold these traditions and practices so sacred that they become the thing we worship instead of remembering who we are as divine beings. So it's okay to move on from them, all right? But I want you to revisit this idea of Lent, fasting, which is releasing something we normally do. And I want you to try this out for the next few days of Lent till we get to Easter, which is like mid-April, okay, so we're maybe 3 to 4 weeks away. I want you to fast from victim consciousness, victor consciousness, even vessel consciousness. Why? Because what's left after you get rid of those? This. Fast from worry. What is worry? You hear me say it all the time. Misuse of our power imagination. When we conjure up the worst possible things that could happen. That's not truth. Because the truth is, nothing that happens is either good or bad. It just is. And it's the opportunity for us to be the presence of God in it. Fast from judgments of ourselves and others. You know, there's I forget what they call them now. I had the thing in my head and it's gone now. But there's some like really deeply religious sects that encourage self-flagellation. You did something bad, you get the whipping you. You know, I mean, we don't do that physically anymore, but boy, do we do that mentally and emotionally, right? How about we take a fast from that, judging ourselves and judging others? How could he show up wearing that? Sunday morning church. Is that what she brought for the potluck? Wait, he didn't bring anything for the potluck, and he's like filling his plate? What? Psh. How about fasting from all of that? Not that anyone in this room has ever thought that. How about we fast from some of that? How about we fast from attachments, both big ones and small ones? I struggle mostly with the small attachments. The big things, I seem to have down pat. The small attachments are the ones that I struggle with the most. And I posted something like this yesterday. I walk into someone's bathroom, if that toilet paper roll is not hanging with the paper at the front and going down the wall, I'm like, what kind of person is this? Do they not know? Do they not know? And oh, you're going to love this. I just got some really unrighteous vindication for it. They released a picture of the actual patent for the toilet paper roll. And guess which direction that paper was? Going down the front. I was like, yes, I was right. I mean, seriously? Okay. How about taking a fast from that too? Ogun, fast from that, from the toilet paper roll obsession. Because all of that, anything less than verity consciousness, is saying that we're not being the embodiment of oneness. So every day, every moment that you can remember, think of that last thought you had. Think of what's causing your feelings, your emotions to be in a little bit of a topsy-turvy right now, and ask yourselves, am I coming from this place? Am I coming from this place? And how do we stay in this place? You know how. It's all the things we talk about. Meditation, prayer, all the spiritual practices, denials and affirmations, you name them. That's how we stay in this place. Because when we stay in this place, that's what we're going to experience. That's what we're going to experience. We're going to still have moments in our lives when we experience pain and suffering? Sure. Just this week in our community, a couple people lost folks that were close to them, Lena Winston. Many of you know Lena Winston. She's wife of our YFM director, Matt. She lost one of her brothers that was really close to after a really, really short battle with cancer. Those of you who've been here for years, you know Morgan and Cynthia Barkley. Cynthia passed away earlier this week. We're going to still experience and feel grief and loss. And we will feel sadness. That's okay. Oneness doesn't mean we can't have emotions. What it means, though, is that the emotions don't hijack us, take us over, and become the truth of who we are. This is the truth of who we are. And our work, folks, is to remember it, to know it, to be it, to live it. That's all. Let's take us in a time of meditation. So everybody take a deep breath. And for a moment, observe your feelings, your emotions right now. What do you feel? Do you feel a sense of yes? Do you feel a sense of confusion? Do you feel a sense of self-blame? Do you feel a sense of inspiration? Just get in touch with whatever you feel emotionally right now. Acknowledge that they're a reflection of this human experience. And take a deep inhale, and when you exhale, step back behind them to the truth of who you are, which is spirit, which is love, which is oneness, which is God. And anchor yourself in this experience. We can feel what we feel and know the truth. And the truth is we are beingness itself. We are the very fullness of God, fully present at the point in each and every one of us. We are oneness. We are oneness. So as we spend a few moments in the silence, affirm the truth for yourself. I am oneness. I am oneness. am oneness. Let us hold this truth for ourselves and for all these names in our prayer box. These requests to experience the truth. For all these names, situations, for all these things of who we are, we lift them up. And should you share that intention, that desire for others in your life, we invite you to say their names out loud now. And so doing, we affirm not just the oneness that we are, but the oneness that they are. That they see these situations as opportunities to expand into the truth that they are the fullness of God. I am oneness.
Changing the meditation song so we aren't in victim consciousness or vessel consciousness. We are now in the oneness. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. Let's say love. Love is all there is. Love is all there will ever be. Love is all there is. Love is all there will ever be. Quietly, God. God is all there is. Bring it inside. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. And God is all there will ever be.
Thank you for a great service, Ogun. As a Unity geek in me, that was such a great service. Just to remind people, if you listen to this talk, it's a lot to take in, that you can listen to the talks on YouTube at any time, and you can also download the Spotify and the SoundCloud app and just hear the service. So now it's time in our service. We'd like to recognize our chaplains. I invite them to please stand. These beautiful souls are available for prayer after the service. If you need a little help moving from Victor to through all the different stages up to Verity, these beautiful souls would surely love to do that with you. And I also just want to, that's fine guys, you can, yeah. Also that we have home and hospital prayer chaplains available. I saw Catherine here and Nancy. They could stand if you know anyone that would like a visit in the hospital or is at home recuperating and would like some support. Please see one of these beautiful souls.
Like I say, I really appreciate putting the people's names who are in the hospital publicly on the Conscious Connection, because then people will know
Excellent. That's a great idea, Nancy. All right. We have an announcement for a prayer chaplain training. It will be the first 2 weekends in April, April 5th at 6 p.m. and on Saturday the 6th at 9 a.m. And then Friday the April 12th at 6 p.m. and Saturday the 13th. And now I'd just like to invite Laurie up to give a testimonial.
I can sing in front of you. It's more difficult to speak. Okay. Who grew up with the Lord's Prayer? I had it on my wall every day for years and years and years. That was it. Oh, the one about, now I lay me down to sleep and that you're going to die, right? Okay. And then I went to Al-Anon and I had the Grant Me Serenity. Okay, 3. And, it still wasn't enough. And, oh yeah, bargaining. God, if you give me this, I'll do this. And then, 3 words. This was my prayer. God help me. That's it. That's all I had for most of my life. And then I came here, and the best way to find out what it's like to be a chaplain is to go to one and experience that. I would save up my problems from the week and dump it on a chaplain, right? Right? And all we did was pray together and light, right? We are the presence, we are the light. And it'd be such a fulfilling experience. And then people would say, Laura, you should be a chaplain. And not non-committal, didn't want anything like that. But then I gradually got closer to the idea of it. And this wonderful lady right here, Judy, said, come on, I'll show you what it's like. I'll tell you about it. And we went back there to where the stoles are. She says, you get to wear a stole. All right? So this one's hanging up there, all embroidered in gold. And anyone who knows me knows I love a bargain. Free, it said on it. Wow, what a sign that was. So I said, you know what, I'll take it home, put it in my closet. And I did for several months. I still kept going to the chaplains though, and finally made that decision to love. It's about Lisa Natoli, I read her this week. She says, life is so simple. It always gives back to me exactly what I give. And we sang today, make that decision to love, and we get what we give back in rewards incredibly. So, make the decision to love. You know what? We also eat well. There's great food involved. So any questions, see me or this wonderful lady too, and take that spiritual step to know more than just those simple prayers, because it's out there, it's to communicate the love.
Thank you, Laurie. And now is the time when we gather our tithes and our offerings. And let us affirm together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Don't say it. Don't say it. No, you're good. You're good. As we are collecting the offering, I wanted to share a couple announcements, extra things with you. First of all, starting on April 1st, we'll be doing Absolute Abundance. This is the Abundance and Prosperity class that we teach here at Unity on the River. It's a class that is a requirement for membership, and good news, sort of good news, I guess, is that it used to be a 10-week class. They've revamped it, and now there's a 5-week version that we'll be teaching. So there's not as much as of the time commitment. I'll be teaching this class, So it's a great opportunity to come and connect with other people, with me as well. Am I hearing feedback, or is that just me? Okay, we'll let you do your thing. So even, and here's the thing, even if you've taken this class already, or you've taken another abundance class, remember that old joke, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. Come back for a refresher. Come back to get another good jolt of these teachings, especially if kind of like your life might be the place where you've taken all these classes and all that, but you're still like, you know what I meant by that, right? Come back to the class again. Okay, there's no rule that says you only got to take a class once here. Okay, take them multiple times. The second thing I want to share with you, many people have been asking, so what's happening with the 25th anniversary? We're not seeing a lot of information. We're like this close to finalizing all the details, but I want to give you a little more right now and remind you about some of the things that are happening. Our 25th anniversary is coming up. April 5th is when it starts. We're going to kind of be May 5th. So we are going to be celebrating kind of that whole week. Starting on Sunday, we're going to have a huge service. We have Jim Blake, the CEO of Unity, coming in. Shipley will be here. Curtis, the former music director, Curtis Haynes is going to be here. A lot of fabulous singers that you know and love are going to be here. We're going to have a massive, huge cookout and potluck here. So, if there's never a day you've bought a food to give to potluck, that'll be the day. That'll be the day, okay? And then Wednesday night, there's going to be a special Wednesday night midweek service. I'm kind of framing it in the idea of taking a trip down memory lane. I want people to come, share their stories. Reverend Shipley will lead it with Meg. We can have Amandi's going to be here. Lisa Plumley's going to be here, I think. It's going to be Leslie Smith. It's going to be like a lot of music. We're not doing our usual meditation Wednesday night. It's going to be party time. Okay, so come for that. And then the following weekend, Janice Stanfield is going to be here. Now, I don't know if you know who she is, but she is one of New Thought, like Unity Religious Center. She's one of our best and amazing songwriters, performers, singers. She's doing a concert Friday night. Hopefully we'll get ticket sales started for that this week. She's doing 2, maybe 3 workshops on Saturday. I was talking with her on the phone, and I mapped out like half an hour to sit down with her and just firm up some of these details. An hour and a half later, because she's just an absolute delight, she's saying she wants to do all these things. And I'm like, well, I don't want you to work, kill yourself while you're here. You still got to come do Sunday service. And she's like, nah, I'll just be there Saturday. I'll do all this stuff. Whoever shows up, shows up. I was like, okay. So there's going to be like 3 workshops you can choose from on Saturday. And then that following Sunday, she's going to be our special music and speaker. So it's going to be a week where we not just celebrate who we were, we're going to honor who we are, and we're going to set intentions for who we are going to be on our 25th anniversary, okay? I remember when I turned 25, people talk about the midlife crisis. No, it was a quarter life crisis. Some of you can relate, okay? So I'm going to affirm that 25 years, we're not going through a quarter life crisis. We're going through a waking up. We are going up through waking up. I don't know about you all, but the 30s was really the beginning of the best time of my life, because I figured out who I was. I got clear about who I wanted to be, and I started living in that direction. That's when I started to become a Unity minister and go train. In my 30s, I was like, I think I'm finally beginning to get a handle on this thing called life, right? How many of you can remember your 30s? And remember that's what that was like, right? We thought when we were 20s, we were growing up and we made it. Then we hit our 30s and we look back at our 20s and go, we didn't know nothing. Okay? Don't jump ahead yet. 40s is when you come into your own. The way I hear it, 50s is really when you begin to enjoy life. And then 60s and on, you're just coasting. Okay? All right? So we're not going to no one coasts in their 20s, okay? So we're in our 20s. So we're in this place now where we're like, we're now waking up and getting clear. We're going to jump into our 30s and our 40s. beyond. So come celebrate. Mark your calendar for those dates. Keep an eye out. Let people know. Let the people who you know that may not have been here for a while, let them know. Come celebrate. Come honor. Come honor the tradition of this place. It's Unity on the River. Let's have a fabulous time. Thank you, ushers. Let's give thanks for the offering. So if you take a deep breath, go to that place of gratitude and abundance within you. This too is oneness, knowing that there is no such thing as lack in God, because God is all there is. We are all there is. So we give thanks for these gifts. And in practicing that true flow of abundance, we give a portion back to this Amesbury community, to those doing good work, and to the Unity movement. So no matter how you chose to invest in your spiritual community today, whether it's in these baskets, or you send a donation from your bank or online, we are grateful for all the channels of abundance. And so it is. Amen and amen. I think we got another song coming up.
Yeah, we got a big song. And we want to say,
We have more announcements first.
oh,
Yeah, we have
more announcements.
We got to give some thank yous. Always be in gratitude.
But wait, there's more. You know, it really does take a village of loving, committed souls to make Unity on the River all that it is. And so we just want to thank those that are in service here. We also want to give some special thanks to some special angels, Karen, Mark, Renee, everyone who brought food for the pot and helped with the cleanup for last Sunday's potluck. And the teams that we want to send some extra love and light to are our ushers, our greeters, our Sunday service coordinators, and hospitality. And we also like to recognize our board members for the work that they do here. If they would please stand. Thank you, board members. And we want to thank everyone that helps bring the Sunday service into its magnificent self. And this week we have Reverend Ogun Holder is going to be doing the Wednesday night service. And now it's time for our big song.
I just want to say, during the sermon, I rewrote the prayer of St. Francis, but now it's about 27 seconds long. But it's all in verity, so we'll do that next time.
And we want to give a special outcry of love to Malik, who brought this version of this wonderful Benny King song, Stand By Me. It's in the bachata rhythm, is that the name of it? Bachata. So get on your calypso, well, your island rhythm. Here we go.
And let's keep standing as we welcome our youth and family. We are walking as the light. Walking as the light. Anybody saying anything? Anybody saying anything?
Namaste.
Namaste.
And here she comes.
You may be seated. Tell them to be seated. Oh, go ahead.
So we continued kind of talking about our 12 powers. We started making journals last week, so we started working on that a little bit more. Pretty cool. That's why we're all got paint shirts on. But yeah, pretty fun stuff today.
All right, thank you. Oh, by the way, if you ever want to experience oneness, verity consciousness, come work with these children. They will remind you, and not just remind you, but they're going to call you out on it too. They will. Yeah, they did. She just said they did that to her today. They call you up. They call you up and out. Let us stand. Let's take the hand of our neighbor. Affirm the truth for ourselves and for these children. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And we are richly blessed. Go be oneness.